Well, welcome everyone to the PhotoBiz scheduler demonstration. My name is Jeffrey. I'm the account manager here at PhotoBiz, and I'll be showing you some of the easy steps that you can utilize in order to set up the scheduler for all different types of activities that would be conducted through your website. Via the scheduler, you'll see that you have a couple of different options where you can allow people to just schedule, particularly if you're doing consultations or if you actually want to collect a fee along with that consultation or session. So when you log into your PhotoBiz account, this is what you'll see first. This is what we call your dashboard. Here you're going to see information, particularly regarding your notifications. And as you can see right now, based on this demo account, we have no appointments. So what we're going to do, and what I recommend, at least with the initial setup of your scheduler, is to build it from the inside out. I use the scheduler to book my appointments with dedicated accounts that I work with, special projects, etc. So I find building it from the inside out basically helps you to establish what's available from the front end for your clients and or customers to choose from. So what we're going to do is we're going to select the scheduler from over here on the right. And what I mean by when I say that we're going to build it from the inside out is it's best to start with your availability. So if you're looking at your hours of operations, which you'll find under the availability option, this is where you're going to start. So ideally, if you're going to make yourself available for, sessions or appointments or consultations, it's best to outline those hours of availability so that people have a clear indication of when you're open for business. As you can see here, and this is of course going to vary from studio to studio. Here's information about the basic schedule that I set up. And then of course, once you add all the information pertaining to your schedule, be sure to save changes. In addition to the availability and the times of operation, it's also best that if you already know that you're going to have some scheduled time off, to go ahead and add that to the calendar. As you can see here, I had added the Labor Day, and the feature of adding a time off notation is just this simple. You're going to click on the option to add. You'll see that there's an occasion box. Basically, that's just for your own purposes because this will only be seen by you. This won't be external to your clients and or customers. And then you can determine how specifically that time is going to be blocked off, whether that's going to be all day, or if you have a specific, gap of time that you're not going to be available, which when you choose the all day option and then select no, you'll see that you can actually select the date and then you can enter your times here. And then be sure to add the option of add time off. So let's go back. We've already added our availability. Now, the other thing to consider is that if people are going to be allowed to book appointments or schedule sessions, you also want to make sure that they have the availability or the option to be able to change that reservation or change that scheduled time with you. So policies is a way by which you can manage that. So you'll see here that we provide you several options. As you can see, I have mine set to up to 24 hours before. So that means that people can't cancel their appointment within that 24-hour period. Of course, you can extend that. You can also set it to never. Typically, what I find is that most people set it within the 24-hour date range. And then you, of course, save your changes. So now that we've set up our availability in terms of our hours of operation, we've set up our policy, which is to allow them to cancel within 24 hours. Now let's go to our services. And this is essentially where you're going to set up your options for people to book. So as you can see here, you can define it by category, and you can have as many categories as you like. Right now, I just have the category for portraits defined. If you want to change that, of course you can. You just click on the pencil here and you'll see that it will highlight or bring that option to the forefront. If you hit enter, it will then save that change. I've already set up one, which I've called in-studio session. And again, if you have multiple sessions that you want to make available, you can certainly do that, not only by category, but also by topic. So here you'll see within the in-studio session, you have a series of different options along the left-hand side. So of course, you're going to start with the name of the session itself. And I would use the name of the session that you use within your marketing materials or your Facebook ads or what have you. So there's some continuity. The description, I would say, needs to be anything that you feel is pertinent to best prepare your client and or customer for that session. It's also effective, I think, in managing expectations within that description. So if there are certain times, if there's a cancellation clause that's associated with that, if you have COVID-19 restrictions, it's not a bad idea to put this information within the description box. You're then going to notate your duration, and you can see that we've given you anything from 15 minutes all the way up to 300. Of course, you're going to notate your price so that people have a clear understanding of what the requirement in terms of cost will be for that portrait session. If you're going to charge tax, and of course, in most cases, you probably will. Now here, in terms of the active option, what this means essentially is there may be sessions that you have set up that may be seasonal or they may be special. So rather than you having to delete those, you can set that option to no, and then toggle it to be on for booking only or for yes for booking and payment. So essentially the active yes for booking only and payment, and no pertains to whether you want this to be an active session option or not. As you can see here, I have mine set for booking and for payment. I'm going to save the changes. In addition to that, you also want to provide an image that's going to help sort of manage the expectation or give a visual component to what type of session that includes. So you can see here, I've added an image. You can do that a number of different ways. You can do that through the upload feature, would be the same process as uploading images to your gallery. If you have images already available that you've uploaded into your clipboard, you can access them here via the clipboard option. And of course, we have stock images. And if you click on stock images, you can see here, we have a vast array of images. And if you're looking for something in particular, you can click the search feature here and find images that way. So let's go back. Apart from our image, we also want to set some expectations in terms of options. So as you can see here, I've added the option for this particular in-studio portrait session for hair and makeup, just hair, just makeup. And then I also offer the option that says, no, thank you. Now let's go ahead and add a new option. So when we click a new option, you'll see here, it's going to basically name that new option as untitled. What I'm going to do is call this wardrobe. I'm going to call this wardrobe change. Now here, what we're going to add is our sub option. So we're going to say 1. And again, you can add an incremental cost. We're just going to call this $25 and then add sub option. Okay. And then here, if you're going to add another one, let's say 2 wardrobe changes. And you're going to see your options listed here. Okay. Let's move down to availability. So again, this is going to pertain to whether you want to make the availability of your portrait session within a particular time frame. So if you can see that there's a limited time schedule for this particular type of session, you can limit that based on the hours that you already set up. So again, that's why I think it's important for you to start with your actual availability overall, because you can narrow the scope or the focus of that just by using this particular option for this particular session. We're going to change it back to the no default, and we're going to save our changes. Now, you also have an option for instructions. Now, this is particularly helpful if there's something that you want to garner from your particular client and or customer. Let's say, for example, maybe you're offering props. So maybe you want to give them an option to provide you more information about what additional content they're going to be including within their portrait session, if that's an option. And then of course you can make this required or not. Then next, you're going to go down to the thank you section. Now, this, of course, is going to pertain to the message that your client and or customer will receive once they successfully book and or book and pay for their particular portrait session. And then lastly, you'll see here, there's an SEO section. Now, this is good for search engine optimization. So if you are offering online booking opportunities or availability, if you want that information to come up within the context of your virtual marketing, here's how you can accomplish that. You can add tags, which in many cases are keywords for people, in addition to keywords that you can add within the keyword section. Now, based on the content of what you're setting up within that particular portrait session, in the case you can see mine's an in-studio session for Jane Doe Studios, our system will automatically provide metadata based on that. So even if you don't have any preferences set from the custom option, it'll utilize the auto feature to basically populate that. So now that we've set up everything pertaining to our session, now we need to go and take a look at it from the website perspective. So we're going to come over here to the website tab, and you'll see that we actually created a page for the actual scheduler. And that's just as simple as going here to new page and then clicking on the option for page. And then you can basically add what you want to the page. So if you want to have not only your title for book your appointment, but maybe you want to have some additional images that may have been the byproduct of other in-studio portrait sessions, you could have those available just as visual content to make the page a little more engaging, a little more appealing. And then of course you want to add from your right-hand panel or your list of options, the scheduler block, which you can see we already have here. When we click on the scheduler block, it's then going to provide you the option to then determine what layout you want to choose. So again, you're thinking of the website component being the more visualized component of that scheduler presentation. So you can see here we have the current layout being the single item for portrait. If we change this, you can see that there are other options that you have available. So we're going to keep it at the current setting, and we're going to click the option to go back. Now here's where you're going to choose which category that you want that scheduler feature or option to appear on your website page. So we're going to select the category, which again, we defined within the scheduler area or scheduler product. And then we're going to select the service, which of course is the in-studio session. Be sure to save your changes. Now, as you see here over to the left, again, this is the visual component. So we're in the website. So how do you want this particular block or scheduler block to appear? You have styling options here, which these basically pertain to how that scheduler block is going to appear in terms of the spaces below the block, as well as the spaces within the scheduler block. The same is going to be true for the colors. Now, in most cases, these are already going to be preset just based on what you have from the branding perspective or the design perspective. So you shouldn't necessarily have to alter these, but if you wish, you can certainly do that. And then of course, you can attribute a background to this as well. All right, now that we have the schedule actually formulated, we have all our preferences set, including our layout. You can do this one of two ways. You can actually click the hyperlink here, which is right under the book scheduler feature, and that will bring up the page. And you can see here that we have basically the colors that we've outlined. You can see the spacing that we added, which was medium, both at the top and below the block. You can see that we have the title, which is the in-studio session, as well as the cost. And then we have a description here. So we added some amenities, which at the point of what we defined within the scheduler itself, we have hair and makeup. So I'm just going to select the option for no thank you. And then we also have the option for the wardrobe change. All right. So once the two criteria are met, or of the options that you define are met, you can then schedule. All right, we're going to be looking at tomorrow. And then again, based on the schedule of availability that you had allocated within your scheduler, now you can see the time that's available for you to book. Once they select the time, then they're going to put in their information. And of course, the phone number. And then add to cart. And then from here, you'll see that there's the option for the in-studio session that I've selected. I've only purchased one, and that I can actually then secure checkout. And you can see here that it's also included the taxes that you have defined as well. And it's really that simple. And again, you can have multiple different multiple sessions listed on that particular page, or you can have them divided up into separate pages. So that if you have it categorized for seniors or families or headshots, you can basically allocate specific pages for those particular categories. And it's just that simple. So thank you for your time today. And again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're happy to assist you.